Tom here from Growth Hacker, and in this video I want to talk about how to build a remote commission-only sales team. So if you're running a business and you're getting established and you're doing online marketing and you have a sales effort which involves people, you will get to a point where your founding team or your initial group of people can't handle all of the leads that you're producing. You'll be getting the acquisition numbers that you need to ramp the budget up, but you'll get to a point where you can't ramp the budget any further with the number of people that you have got. Now, before, to solve this problem, if you wanted to build a sales team, you'd have to go through quite a long and arduous process. You'd have to interview lots of candidates individually over a series of days. It's pretty boring, it's pretty ineffective method. And then once you'd found the right candidate, you'd have to then take on risky fixed costs in the form of overhead salaries, with the knowledge that within the first likely 3 to 6 months, the reps, whilst they're being onboarded and ramping up, they won't be producing the results needed to recover that fixed cost. And as well as that, you'll need a physical office for them and you'll need to provide them phones. So all in all, this creates, the old way of doing things creates a really kind of high friction process, which means that on one side you've got your marketing, which is working great and you're producing loads of leads and you can just turn the tap on that, but your limiting factor is your sales team, where you don't want to take on this risk of the overheads and it's going to take time and all of that sort of thing. So the process that you can use to solve this problem is to build a remote commission-only sales team, and that is what I want to focus on in this video. Now, this is built upon these new way of doing things, which I'm going to explain through this funnel here. So let's dive into the funnel. I'm just going to zoom in on it here. So what you're going to do to start off with, you are going to outreach to people organically, first of all, via LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook, to your audience to try and find people who might be open to this role. So in today's situation with the coronavirus, there's obviously a crazy number of people looking for work. There's a lot of people out of work and a lot of people who will take this opportunity in two hands. So that is your first place: LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. Depending on your business, and the type of salesperson that you need to onboard, you may find that LinkedIn is the main place that you can post if you've got a big LinkedIn following. Okay, once you have done those organic posts to try and reach out, what you can also do is, this is where you really get the scale in, you can use tools like Indeed to put on big job adverts, and you can get acquisition costs. I think it's around $3 per applicant or something like that you will typically get. Now, what you will do with all of these applicants, if you do this at scale, you can get like hundreds of applicants, and you need to direct them, you need to send an email to them or a message through Indeed that directs them to a hiring video sales letter or a hiring video sales message. And this acts as a filter where you're going to direct all these candidates through, and then you're going to have a long form video that they watch. This is going to be maybe 30 or 40 minutes, explaining what the process is all about to be in your commission-only sales team, explaining what your product is and what you do, and also explaining the work arrangement as well, that it's going to be remote, that it's going to be commission-only. Now, let's say that you have like 250 applicants here. This will filter down to then get you the people who are sort of semi-serious, and then you can then get them to book in through Calendly for a group webinar. Now, when you get into this group webinar, this is the key part of the funnel. So let's say, for example, you may have 10, 15, maybe even up to 30 people within this Zoom call, and you need to communicate to them what it is your business does, show them the track record of the sales that people who are existing within your team have and the commission that they are earning, show them about your processes and how it works, and show them about the onboarding period and the training that the applicants are going to get as well. Okay, so this all needs to be communicated in the first part of the group webinar, and then what you will do is you will ask these group webinar participants some questions. So you'll be asking them things about their previous experience, what brings them to sales, what alternatives they have at the moment, because you need people who are dead set on this opportunity and really want it. Those are the people who are going to be successful. And what you'll find in this group setting, even though people are only replying on the chat by typing, you'll find that the confident people rise to the top, and they're giving strong answers, they're communicating the most frequently, and they're going to be the people that you choose to go ahead with. And you may find 5% of them, it might be 10%, it might be 20% of the people who you say, right, these are the people who we want to take further. Now, the next step, once you get to the end of the group webinar and you've asked all your questions, you basically need to present your offer, which is going to be that it is going to be a commission-only agreement. That people, what you can also put into your agreement is that people need to pay to join you, because they're going to go through an intensive training period for a month to get started, which in any other scenario they would need to pay for, okay? And they're going to get this back probably 2 or 3 times over in the first month, okay? So make the amount that people need to pay, make it like a third of what they would typically earn in their first month, okay? The idea isn't to financially penalize them, it is just to recover your costs of acquiring these applicants, and also, and very importantly, it is about finding the people who are actually willing to invest in themselves and make that commitment, because those are the people with entrepreneurial spirit who will make good salespeople, particularly on a commission-only agreement. So you'll send a few more emails. What you can do is divide the payment down into a deposit, which they need to pay immediately after the call. Make that about 20% of the total amount. So if you, let's say that your typical commission is $2,000, the total amount, let's say that you're going to make it a third of that, so you're going to make it around $600, and then get them to pay about 20% of that as a deposit, so $120. You then send them a couple more emails here telling them if they have been successfully onboarded. If they have, they then need to make their full payment, and that will bring them into the onboarding period, where you're basically going to train them on how to come on board, first of all with outbound prospecting, then you're going to let them loose within your CRM, okay? And the goal is, over that period, is to get them to hit predefined things. So you might want them to get a certain amount of calls booked initially through outbound prospecting, and then as you get later into the model, you're going to want them to be more focused on getting sales and that sort of stuff. And you can have them go through milestones that they need to become a fully fledged salesperson. And then eventually, some of them will later become managers, maybe a year or 18 months down the line, they will become managers. So that is the process, guys, that is the funnel. And by leveraging tools like Slack, Zoom, and the CRM system, you can have people working all over the world as remote commission-only salespeople selling your service, and you're really creating like an office environment online. Like, people can connect on Zoom, you can have morning meetings, 9 o'clock, evening meetings, 5 o'clock, get people all in the group. You can have Slack as your kind of communication channel throughout the day and connect that up to your CRM. And people can actually perform even better than they would in an office, because there's not so many distractions, they've not got the commute into work, and they can just sit and be focused working at home. So this is a fantastic model. It really reduces your risk of taking on a sales team by making it commission only, and it is also a really quick way of growing as well, because you're hiring en masse rather than going through really long one-on-one processes. So I hope you found this useful. Any questions on how to get this set up, please let me know, message me directly. And if you're interested in joining us, we accept 5 applicants a month, and you can apply on the link below. Thanks for listening.